See what I need actually is I need a bench screw with a left-handed thread.
So
see, these are set up, you'd be carving from this way and always tightening it if you were a normal person.
But you're left-handed.
But I'm left-handed, so I'm always loosening my bench screw. Everything I do loosens the bench screw. They got two different styles. There's one over here on the floor. This one is okay, but it doesn't have the bite that one has. That style has. It's that style. And it's a different style bench screw. Whereas, so what I'm using is this style, which this goes on here, obviously. Screws on. Well, if I could get it started. That just screws into the bottom, and then this is flatted, so this slot you can, that's why I leave this one apart in here. You can just fit that and then turn it into the, screwed into your piece. This one's the same way. It's got this, comes off and goes on this little square and screws, and this is a lot lighter duty than this big guy. You just don't have the leverage.
Do you remember where you got these?
I believe that this style came from Woodcraft, I think. I don't know if they still sell them or not, but I just keep them around. And they have that washer that goes on them. There's a big washer down here on the bottom, you can see. Just spreads the load. But it's an ancient device for holding carvings. It's not anything new. It's just nice. It gives you the ability to reposition it very quickly. That's mostly just make it easier on my hands. I don't have the corners I'm running into all the time. They ever ask about sharpening the tools?
No, not so far.
Really? Mm-hmm. That's weird. That's what most people ask about. How do you sharpen those? Usually the most common question. Well, I don't know. Look at that. Always end up too long in the front of the arm, but not long enough in the back of the arm. And it appears Yoda's right-handed. His right hand's on top. He's three-fingered, isn't he?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I'm going to push the hands back in there a little further. I'm not happy with this situation. Exactly. Just kind of push everything back some. That'll get me closer to those sleeves and give me more ability to cover things up. Yeah, I like that better. And seeing the picture, they're down lower, but I kind of like them up there. I kind of like the look of this. It's kind of what I'm after, I think.
Well, you're not trying to copy it. So.
No. Okay. And you just can't, for this type of carving, you can't go quite as far as they do.
Yeah. Yeah, you've got to kind of cartoon it almost.
Yeah, because you got to work within the realm of what the wood will tolerate for a. Now, if it was a piece going into a showcase somewhere, it'd be different. But this kind of stuff here, you gotta. But it's still important, like on those fingers, to kind of set those planes so that you kind of define things the way you want. Push that finger back down. that little bit of an undercut up in there just to give me a nice little shadow line. Just to give some depth to that. These fish tails are nice because they're really thin tools. You can see that, how thin that cross section is. And so they don't want to split the wood. If you push them into a confined space, they won't try to split your wood out as bad as if I was using a regular tool, because these are really thin. So around something really delicate like these fingers and things, you can go in there a little more aggressively than you could with a standard tool. Okay. I don't think those hands look too bad, do you?
No, I like them.
I mean, there's not a lot of detail there, but
I like the knobbiness of them.
that's what I was going for, was to try to get that knobbiness. It's kind of established. I kind of still want to do that on up in here. Just a couple extra cuts a lot of time will make you really add some texture to something. Add a look you're after, you know. I stuck that one finger out there to indicate that other hand. I think that's enough.
I think so.
Get that the way I want it there. There we go, that looks better. Okay, like that better. Okay, I gotta hollow out this sleeve and kind of define it to the stick. I might try to pull that foot over a little, or I might just leave it close and keep it strong. That might be best. His feet are kind of like possum feet. His outer toes out away from him, you know. It's just kind of funny, but it's the way it is. Pull it back down some. Okay. Sunlight.
Mm-hmm. Kind of weird, isn't it?
Yeah. Not really in the forecast. Thought the forecast was increasing clouds and snow for the day. And again, I don't know if they know what they're doing. Call for weather. I think the biggest problem with all this is you overthink it, because people never see it the way you see it. So you always end up making things more complicated than they probably need to be to get the point across. I know I'm guilty of that all the time. That smaller one. Okay. Well, we obviously got to take the chin back in further. I'm not going to get quite as far back in as they are, but I'll go back in here a ways. It's a little more of a hunchback than I have him too, probably. You think?
It'll be fine. You're not working an ILM here.
You sure?
Yeah. We're not making enough money if we're working at ILM.
Well, what I want to kind of get established is the break between his head and the coat. That's where I'm at right now. I kind of want to get that line in here so that I've got something I can come on. Pain in the butt, turn that one direction. Kind of catching. Okay. Not too bad, actually. Better have on there. I can get in over here, really. This forward here. It's funny, but it's so easy to just procrastinate because you don't want to mess the face up, so you don't want to do the face, you know.
That's why I never got good at drawing faces.
You remember when I got the idea that I was going to do 5 or 10-minute portraits, you know, at art shows, and I sit down and like National Geographic or something, I had a lot of faces in it,
Mm-hmm.
and time myself sketching those, you know, how many minutes I could get that down to where I could draw a human being in so many minutes. You get pretty
Yeah.
pretty good at that after a while. I mean, you do enough of it and you keep.
Yeah, by the end of the semester in, life drawing where you've got a live model, I felt pretty confident with quite a bit of the human anatomy.
Problem's getting your head out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
It's a problem with everything you do. I don't care what it is. You get your head out of your way, you can do some amazing things. As long as your head's in your way, it just does you in. If it's shooting or
Just overthinking.
drawing or painting or carving or whatever, you overthink it. If you let the conscious side of your brain do too much, it just always gets in the way. There's some places you need the conscious side, but a lot of places it's just baggage. See, both those ears actually sweep back just a little, in a sense, and then come out right at their tips. No good way of doing this. You're going to end up cross grain on those ears.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what you do, basically.
Unless you make them separate.
Yeah. Don't want to do that. Make the piece look funny. Kind of weird how that just kind of just play that brow line out. Nothing there. And almost kind of wrinkles up and over his ears.
Mm-hmm.
So now how I see this is we're going to take and make two cuts in. That kind of little button nose there. Nope. Too much grain going into that. These start to know you're pushing too hard, you should stop pushing. Okay.
Looks a little scary right now.
Yeah. A little more Darth Vader mask going on than Yoda right now. There was a scary side to Yoda. You will be. And they got like a funny string of basswood right here.
Right where you want it.
Yeah, right where I want it. It's real terry. Just not quite what I had in mind, but that's okay. Because it's wood, you have to be careful how you do this in what order. Because what I don't want to do is cut all this in, because see, that's pretty dramatic how that goes in right here.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to do that until I have these eyes established, because I'm afraid I'll bust those cheeks out.
Right.
So I want to get the eyes established and then work this down here. But to do that, I got to kind of get this nose under control. I could have made all this easier. See, the nose is still too long, isn't it? That's probably better there. Okay. See, I don't think this one drops quite enough. That's better. Got to pull them out just a little bit too. This over here is just still kind of tacky. Okay, so better draw that on there probably. Okay, now I gotta push that back in. That's a pretty hard line there. You just really want to work your way in on that thin stuff. Get your end out there the way you want it. Then work your way in. Well, you got that, all that support.
That way you're always cutting into something strong.
Right. You make a really delicate item that way by just using it to kind of support itself while you're working on it. Mm-hmm. That's what you're doing. You're just cheating it. What do you think?
I don't think much.
I don't think it looks too bad, do you?
I think it looks good.
Perfect, but neither was the first one 4 years ago. Or whenever it was. Like I've just kind of lived through an endless year that just... Oh, it's Tuesday again. Well, that's wonderful. Look, it's Tuesday again. Huh, it's Tuesday.
I was really looking forward to Tuesday.